Good day. This is Orly Taitz, and this is Taitz report for October the 11th. Well, there are some good news to report. One of them that Million Trucker March rally is arriving in Washington, D.C. with a list of demands. Among those demands is one that is actually delivered to the U.S. Congress, seeking to remove Barack Obama from office due to his use of forgeries instead of valid IDs. This list of demands is expected to be given to Congressman Lou Gohmert of Texas. And this is the same congressman whom I met during CPAC convention, and I questioned him what happened to the documents that were delivered to him by the U.S. attorneys in relation to Greenwell's case. And this is one of the congressmen that stated that he never received anything from the U.S. Attorney's Office, which claimed that members of U.S. Congress wanted to dismiss the case challenging Obama. That was Greenwell's versus Electoral College, and this is the case that is now in the Court of Appeals. So we'll see what will happen, but the sentiment against Obama is swelling, particularly in light of Barack Obama's highly inappropriate behavior, really vindictive behavior during this shutdown. The shutdown was supposed to be due to lack of funding. One would expect during shutdown for Obama to maybe cut unnecessary positions in the government. Instead, he was just retaliating against law-abiding U.S. citizens who wanted to visit the World War II Memorial, who wanted to visit the Grand Canyon, and so on. Just really despicable behavior by a citizen of Indonesia who is usurping the White House with bogus IDs and retaliating against the US citizens. On the legal front, more just inexplainable and unconscionable actions by the regime. I have a case in Washington, D.C., and that's the case against the Postmaster General and Inspector General of USPS in relation to my complaints that I submitted showing that Barack Obama is using a fabricated selective service registration which contained a fabricated postal stamp affixed to it. And originally, the Postmaster General, Inspector General responded by saying that they forwarded this to the fraud department and action will be, they demanded action from fraud department within 30 days. Well, that was in June of 2012. I submitted FOIA requests for information as to what was done about it, and there is nothing. So the defendants did not respond to the lawsuit, and I sought a motion for summary judgment in my favor. Well, the judge on the case, Judge Lambert, or somebody from his court, has actually contacted the U.S. Attorney's Office, and this is something that is not allowed. A judge cannot contact one party, cannot make a phone call, hi, how come you're not responding? The judge was supposed to put something on the docket and submit it to them and to me, and he did not do it. Well, he gave them heads up, I guess, telling them, listen guys, you need to file a response because you were supposed to respond within 60 days, you haven't. I got a phone call from Daniel Van Horn, who is the chief of the civil department of the U.S. Department of Justice, and he admitted that the complaint was received in the Department of Justice by certified mail. There is a receipt. I submitted the receipt to the court, but they claimed that the paperwork disappeared from the Department of Justice, and whoever signed for it did not log this in a special log of certified mail documents. And I do have this is, I'm going to put it as close to camera as possible, and you can see this is a receipt. You can see there is signature from Department of Justice. This is the signature from the office of the Postmaster General, And this is the signature receipt from the Office of the Inspector General of USPS. So they all received the paperwork, and the response the Department of Justice is giving is that apparently the dog ate the papers. And now I understand why Barack Obama bought another dog. There are so many forged documents that need to be eaten by those dogs. And I guess his first dog, I guess, got stomach pain and stomachache, and so he bought another dog. And that's the joke of a Justice Department that we have, and the courts often do take those kind of responses as valid responses. So we'll see. I will respond, of course, and we'll see what the judge is going to do. But what we've seen for the past 5 years, that the judges just allowing Barack Obama to get away with murder, get away with using fabricated IDs. There is another case that I filed against former Commissioner of Social Security, Michael Astro. And as I received more information, I filed a motion for reconsideration. There is a specific statute, which is it's statute 60 B6, under which it was filed, and it allows one to file at any time. It doesn't have to be within a specific time frame. So what Judge Royce Lambert, who until recently was the chief judge of the district, now he's a senior judge on a senior status, in order to somehow help Barack Obama, he issued a ruling based on a completely different statute, not a statute that I used. And he said, well, according to that statute, it was supposed to be done within 1 year. Well, I didn't file again on that statute. It's a joke, what we're saying in court. Next, something very interesting that's happening. We're seeing that in 9 days of shutdown, the U.S. Treasury received $59 billion from us in taxes. And this is something that needs to be investigated and analyzed. First of all, they are getting all this money. However, they're cutting on services. For example, NIH, we are told that patients who undergo treatments at NIH, including children, are not getting treatments. Well, if that is the case, if we, the citizens, the taxpayers, are not getting the benefit of a specific department, why the money that was supposed to go to this department is not used to pay off the debt? Then what was supposed to be done is, if NIH is not providing service to the citizens, then the NIH should have been completely shut down during the time of the full government shutdown or partial government shutdown, and whatever monies we usually pay employees of an NIH should have gone to repay part of our debt. It's like if you decide to buy a car and then you change your mind, you don't buy a car, you don't get a specific benefit, you don't make the payments. If we are making those payments and we're not getting specific services, then the money that we're sending should be going to repay part of the debt. And again, the Secretary of Treasury, Jack Lew, and Barack Obama should be called to the mat at the U.S. House of Representatives to respond. What are they doing with the money? If they're not providing services, then they should be using this money to repay part of our debt. Next, going to the same $59 billion that they have received in 9 days of the shutdown. Let's extrapolate this number. 59 billion in 9 days. Let's take round numbers. That's about, what, 60 billion for every 10 days. So, which means that they're getting at a rate of about $180 billion every month, which comes to about 2.16, 2.2 trillion dollars per year. And here's the problem. We are missing, again, $650 billion. What's going on here? We know that the U.S. government has allowed certain Bush tax breaks to expire. And as a result, they got additional $600 billion in revenues, in taxes from us. They've been getting from us about $2.2 trillion every year in the past few years. So to this, you have to add those $650 billion. They should be getting $2.85 trillion, close to $3 trillion, and it's not happening. We're missing about $650 billion, maybe $700 billion just disappear. What is going on? The dog ate $650 billion too? That's one hungry dog, I would say. So there has to be an investigation. We have to call Secretary of Treasury to the mat. Now, we've seen that Obama propaganda machines such as NBC coming up with bogus polls that supposedly fault the Republicans for the shutdown. And those bogus polls are used to pressure Republicans to basically agree to any and all concessions and continue business as usual, just stealing our money, squandering the money like there is no tomorrow, and drowning us in debt. And that is why it is important to understand. Listening to polls that are coming from LA Times, NBC, CBS, it's pretty much like paying attention to polls done by Communist Pravda that is saying that dissidents against the Stalin regime or Brezhnev regime are to blame for all of the misfortunes in the Soviet Union when the Soviet Union existed. Of course, regime propaganda machine will fault anybody who goes against the regime. Throw away those polls. As a matter of fact, look at other polls that show that actually by margin of 21%, Americans do not want any raise of debt ceiling, saying don't raise the debt ceiling, live within your means. And this is the position that is taken by the Tea Party, which means that by 21%, I think it was 58 to 37%, they actually stand with the Tea Party Republicans and against the establishment Republicans and against the Democrats and Barack Obama. Further, other polls are showing that 2-1 Americans are saying, hey, don't let Obama get a clean resolution. Don't allow him to raise debt ceiling without any significant cuts. This is a joke what we're seeing from Barack Obama and from Congress. All of those negotiations, it sounds like a joke. Moreover, when the Republicans have offered a 6-week reprieve, Barack Obama said no. So live within your means. And lastly, why would anybody believe anything that is promised by Barack Obama? The man is a complete lie. He's a complete fraud. He is a foreign criminal who is sitting in the White House with all fabricated IDs and a stolen social security number. Why would we believe a word coming out of his mouth? Why would we believe any promise made by him? We can't. His whole persona is nothing but a fraud. And lastly, as you know, the truckers are arriving today in Washington, D.C. And on Sunday, day after tomorrow at 9 a.m., there will be a rally, 1 million veterans rally at World War II Memorial, and I will be there. I don't know if I'll be at the beginning of the rally, but I am planning to be there. And I'm asking everybody, please come to this rally. Please prepare flyers, and you can make a copy on one side, or at least part of it, Barack Obama's tax return, where he shows his social security number, and then underneath the E-Verify, on the other side, E-Verify and SSNBS showing that this number was never assigned to him. This is very powerful, and we need to provide it to each and every veteran, as many as we possibly can. Put on top of your flyer the URL of my website, orlytaitsesq.com, so that they can go on the website and see more information. Just put there on top of the flyer, for more information, go to orlytaitsesq.com. TAITZESQ.com, my website, and get more information there. We want those veterans. We want those trackers. We want each and every American citizen know that we have a complete fraud and a criminal sitting in the White House who is using a stolen social security number, who is using all fabricated IDs. And it is time to remove him from office. It is time to bring somebody who has integrity, who has values, who is legitimate, who is simply legitimate and has legitimate ideas, and start addressing very similar, very serious problems of lack of jobs, problems of enormous debt. In order to repay this debt, we need one, balanced budget. Two, we have to rescind the agreements that were signed by Bill Clinton. I believe that Bill Clinton has caused more damage to this nation than even Obama, because Clinton was the one who signed NAFTA and WTO GATT. And those agreements have already robbed Americans of nearly 30 million manufacturing jobs, and more jobs are being lost. We will not recover, and we're seeing the same thing happening in Europe because they're part of WTO GATT. It's the same Ponzi scheme called WTO GATT that is simply stealing our jobs and stealing all of our savings. When people have no jobs, they have no savings. Keep in mind that Obamacare is just part of this whole scheme. What it does is shift the cost of healthcare from employers, from corporations, to the shoulders of middle class America, which is overburdened already. We're seeing that companies are just firing people who are working full time, rehiring them at 29 hours per week. And because we have over 100 million Americans who are not in labor force, they have a lot of cheap labor, and they're importing millions and millions of illegals, giving them citizenship so that they will compete for jobs, so the wages will go down, benefits will go down. Who is benefiting? 100, 200 families of oligarchs, of billionaires, and the whole nation is going down the drain. And this needs to end. So far, I did not hear, even from Tea Party Republicans in Congress, a word about need to rescind WTO, GATT, and NAFTA. And those are the biggest problems we have that we need to resolve in order to solve joblessness and in order to solve our debt problems. So rescind WTO GATT, rescind NAFTA. We need a balanced budget agreement. We need to replace welfare system with a workfare system. But in order to do it, we need jobs, and we need to bring them back to America. So please go on my website, read all the information, and if you can, if you possibly can, please participate in this strike. Please put the signs on overpasses saying remove Obama from office. Obama is fraud with forged IDs. Obama uses stolen social security number. And please join the veterans on Sunday, October the 13th, at 9 a.m. at World War II Memorial. It's between Constitution Avenue and 17th Street in Washington, D.C. And please give those flyers with all this information to all of these veterans so they will know that after they fought for this country, that's what they got. A fraud and a criminal sitting in the White House with all bogus IDs. We'll see how they like that. Okay, and that's the Taitz report for today, October the 11th. And I hope you all have a very nice weekend. Thank you.